Leading up to the release of Stellar Blade, we knew that it was going to be a really big launch because gamers were super excited with what they saw and we were praising it. But then the media was attacking it as much as they possibly could, being really desperate for this game to fail, and of course that did not happen. But now we are finding out just how successful Shift Up's 2024 was because they have announced that they had record revenues and profits. But before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I love it when developers are creating content they know that people are going to like. I'm sick and tired of the Dragon Age, the Veil Guards, and the Dustborns and the Flintlocks, where you have a group of activists who are just trying to stir the pot. They are trying to get a message across. They're trying to get hate clicks. They're trying to infuriate people. And they also think in some way that a modern audience is going to show up and monetarily support them, but that never happens. And I just love when developers are making good content. It shouldn't be that hard of a thing for them to do, but it certainly is. Though Shift Up made a really amazing experience with Stellar Blade. Was it a 10 out of 10? No, I rated it an 8 out of 10. It was very good. It was my second favorite game of the year. Black Myth Wukong was just still on another level. That game was superb in every way, shape, and form, and it did not deserve to be overshadowed by Astrobot, at least in my opinion. But Stellar Blade was a really close second. It was a high quality action experience with really great outfits and character models, and it didn't have like the best story or anything. It was pretty generic at times, though it was still a very unique experience. It was just fun all around, and I do think that most people should play it, and I cannot wait for it to release on PC so even more people can experience it. And of course, we can see what the modders do with this game. That's going to be an absolute bonkers time. We're going to see even more hit pieces from the mainstream media, but now Shift Up is announcing just how well things are going for them. So in their full year report, they posted 151.4 million, up 30.4% year over year revenue, 102.3 million, up 33.8% operating profit, and 98.2 million, up 33.7% net profit. So a sweeping victory in 2024 for them. And Stellar Blade was not the only game that they had, but it was clearly what brought them to new heights. So, Goddess of Victory Nikke generated 105.4 million, or 69.6% of the studio's revenue, while you have Stellar Blade royalties being at 43.2 million, but they said that they are very happy with the performance of both titles, and this has all led to it being a record year for them in terms of both revenue and profit. Now, Nikke will be released in China this year. The pre-registrations are in line with expectations. They didn't really say anything else, but we also know that Shift Up is expecting Stellar Blade to perform better in PC than in console, specifically in Asia. They're also optimizing it currently to run smoothly on the Steam Deck, which is cool. And this year, we are supposed to be hearing about their next game, which is going to be called, or at least for now, it's codenamed Project Witches, but that's not going to even release until 2027 or after. So they have a hell of a lot of plans right now. And yes, part of that is Nikke, but another part of that is Stellar Blade. And I know that Stellar Blade, right before release, faced a little bit of controversy because we did see the wall graffiti censored, but that was because of Sony. Make no doubt about it. You had the journos who were reviewing it complaining and trying to find any way they could to smear this game. And sure, I know that there are some people who did end up deciding to not buy it because of that, and also because two costumes were altered from what we saw in the teasers and trailers. But since then, they've done a really good job at exceeding our expectations, or at least in my opinion, they have, with adding new costumes that are much more revealing. And while they never did revert the graffiti, it clearly was just because of Sony, and I hope in the future, they will not have to go through another situation where they have to cave to the demands of a publisher. But I think that this is a game that deserves a hell of a lot of praise. And I do think that the journos were not successful at all whatsoever with their attempts to get people to boycott. this experience, and that is only going to embolden them to attack Stellar Blade and Shift Up even more going forward. So when this finally comes to PC, we're going to see a ton of hit pieces from the media, not only because, oh my god, remember this sexist game that everybody was talking about last year, but because of modding. When Eve is able to be modded, when Lily and Taki are able to be modded, when even Adam is able to be modded, we are going to see them melt down, which is also going to be a very glorious experience, at least in my opinion. I do think that Shift Up created some really good content here. Again, was it a 10 out of 10 game? No, but it was still really, really good. Oh, it also says that they have 322 employees, 90% of them devs, and aim to grow to 400 to 420 by the end of this year, which is really cool. Now, I had made a post about this, and everybody is praising them, saying, I only got a PS5 when I saw the game and pre-ordered it, and then I needed to buy a PS5 to play. I was going to wait for the PS6, but it's a must-have for single-player games that can last for years. Look at Nier Automata style of games and is wanted. The Nier collab also did very good for them. They faced backlash for that too, but this is the power of developers who are listening to their customers, and right now, that is really from Korean devs, I would say, and Chinese devs, and partially Japanese devs, absolutely not Western devs, though. We have seen a major shift from gamers looking at Western entertainment to other regions. And Chinese devs right now are very quickly becoming extremely prominent. We had Black Myth Wukong, Game Science did great, but we also have Wu Chang coming out in 2025, and I think that that is going to be a really awesome game too. Japanese developers have been a tricky situation to navigate because a lot of them are very focused on DEI initiatives because they are focused on chasing investor dollars. There are still ones that are really fantastic and really amazing, and there are a lot of very passionate creatives, but you still have to be careful because a lot of them are just very money focused, which I get it, right? Companies all are, but they are willing to sacrifice creative integrity to get a few extra bucks. But then you have South Korean devs who are really exploding right now. They even admitted just a few months ago that their industry is booming right now because people are looking away from Western entertainment and for alternatives. And you have games like Goddess of Victory Nikkei. You have The First Descendant. And while with Korean devs, my number one issue is typically monetization. I still think that they have an opportunity to take this experience and really run with it, right? To say, okay, people clearly like paying for an upfront cost and then getting a full experience, and that's what we need to focus on. Will that happen? Who really knows? But it's at least worth a shot, and they are creating really good content. Again, we're not talking about like the best games ever created here, but we are talking about them trying to listen to their customers and trying to just create something they know that people are going to have fun with, and they're not trying to actively divide people as what we are seeing is happening in the Western world of entertainment. And this also completely goes against what activists in the West have been saying that, oh, we need to make waves. We need to put a message into our content. No, what you need to do is just create fun. That is what people care about first and foremost. I don't give a fuck about you shoving your activism in a game. I don't give a fuck about you trying to make a statement. I just care that I am buying something that I am going to find entertaining. Make video games escapism again, that it is just that simple. We do not want to see character designs like in Concord, like in Dustborn, like in Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Sexy sells, and sexy is not a bad thing. Sexy is not a negative thing, and it is okay to want to appreciate the female form and even the male form, but we also do not want to hear modern day terminology like transgender and non-binary and having top surgery boundary scar toggles in our video games, or at least one like this. If we were talking about a cyberpunk, the argument would be different because it would fit with the setting, but not in a high fantasy dragon game. And in this case, they did not do anything like that. There was no sign of activism anywhere. And I do think that that really boded in their favor. And there are tons of gamers who agree. Nikkei making 70% of the studio's income is actually insane. It's a really good game that I think most people will enjoy, and the story is actually quite good. It is an anime worthy game. Understanding gamers pay. Give us beautiful, sexy, badass women and rugged, powerful, sexy men and win big. I cannot wait for Stellar Blade to come to PC so I can finally play it. Good for them. Good games should get good rewards. And obviously, I completely agree. So, yes, I will be keeping my eye on Shift Up as time goes forward. I can't wait for this game to finally release on PC so even more people can play it and can enjoy it. And I'm sure when it finally does, we are going to see so much coping and seething from the journos who lost big on this experience. So, yeah, I'll be keeping my eye on it. And if there are any updates, I will be making follow up videos and posts. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.